you so much. Good afternoon. That's weird to have an afternoon, but not lunch yet. So we are mindful of time. We're going to keep on track. I'm typically very good this time, so I'll make sure to go to the point and to give much more time and space to distinguished panelists that we have today on the panel. So today's session number 2, as the introduction to talk said, is about entrepreneurship. So we are bringing back the human element into the whole artificial intelligence that we've been discussing about. I have been asked in this distinguished panel to talk about entrepreneurship in general, or to give space or understanding to what is going on in the GCC in general. But after the first session we had and the introductory also talk at the beginning, and then knowing the profiles of our guest panelists here, I said I'd rather do something more general, just an overview, try to bring a little bit of my personal touch in that, and make sure to then head it over to our distinguished panelists. I will tell you the truth, it's the first time, so no artificial intelligence helped me. It's the first time actually I'm meeting the 3 of them face to face. I know the 2 of them. There is no way not to know Her Excellency, Sarah Al-Nuaimi, when you are on the American University of Sharjah, of course. I'll be very biased. I'm sorry, guys, for you. I'll be very biased to our CEO of Shara for the wonderful, amazing, transformative initiatives that are going on in Sharjah. So beware, Sharjah is going to be the leader in terms of entrepreneurial ecosystem in the world, beyond anything in the world. It's amazing what is going on there. Obviously, we're not going to shy away, and we'll see and learn from our big neighbor in KSA, right? What is going on in Saudi Arabia. And we have our distinguished speaker, Professor Adnan, who will share his experience in terms of entrepreneurship. And we will see also that there is a lot of research initiative that he conducted, and I would like to ask some questions regarding that, but obviously with an eye on entrepreneurship. And then we have Dr. Issam, first time. So the other 2 I really saw in pictures everywhere. Issam, I had to Google you. I had to go in Google Profile Scholar. I had to ask AI, bring me the picture. You look better than in the picture, for sure. So Issam will share with us some, if I may, of course, Dr. Issam, share with us some also experiences in terms of what is going on in France. If you see the school that École des dirigeants de créateurs d'entreprise, right? So it's EDC. I was like, what is that? So it's clear it's in relationship to entrepreneurship. So we'll see what is going on in France, and we'll also bring it back a little bit to the research that you're doing in the area. So notice that we have the practitioner in the middle, right? That's the hand-on. We'll see in the first panel discussion, we've seen that with AI, we need action. And there is no way action doesn't take place. So we have practitioner in the middle. And then we have 2 scholars on the 2 sides to flank, from left to right, to flank the action person, to maybe feed with research question, but also help to find answer and then implement those answers in the real workspace through initiatives that Shara and Sharjah Technology Innovation Park is doing. So I would like to bring a little bit of context in what I'm left-handed, so I like to do both of them, so to be faster. So what I wanted to talk about, as I said, it's a little bit of general context, because after all, we've heard, I don't need to go in detail. So I'll be a little bit fast and furious, right, through the slides, but just focus and emphasize of my general thoughts as I was listening to different panelists and thinking about what is going on in the world, and then to set the tone for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, and then all the experiences that we are living in the world. So I was thinking about the general context, right, what we are living in, and as I was introduced as the chair of leadership studies, I cannot shy away from saying how important the leadership is. So bringing in the center all this transformation, the change that we are living through right now, and with with the whole idea of innovation. The question about what is innovation, whether we are imitating what is going on through programmed language, and how do we foster innovation, we don't forget about that. And how the business world is changing with us putting in place the entrepreneurial ecosystem to allow this innovation to happen and not only copy and paste all this programmed language which dictates those type of ideas that we have, and the linkage to, education so that we can sustain that entrepreneurial ecosystem. So the leadership is in the center because who connects all this is obviously people, and that the ecosystem is being built again through people, through the mindset, through the knowledge. In that system, we know that the innovation that we are living through, we've seen that, sorry, those are slides going too fast. Okay, so we've seen that industrial revolution allows us to do many things, and we don't need to go through that. I think one of the most phenomenal for me thing that allows me to still see the innovation and creativity in that is the metaphors that we can build from different types of worlds that we're living in. And one of the key words maybe which is very fancy is biomimicry. Does somebody know what is biomimicry? Biomimicry? Fancy word, right? It's a word where we can actually emulate and have tangencies with the problems in the animal and physical world and see how the animal and physical world is solving those issues and transpose those issues to the human world and also copy their solution into our own world. So it's interesting even the way how buildings like a fast-speed train like Shinkansen was built, emulating actually the shape of colibri bird to solve the issue that the train couldn't run very fast without creating a lot of noise. So all these type of things, again, which are building the idea of innovation, that with all industrial revolution, we cannot stop that innovation. Now, we've seen that possibilities, and here you can see the future gaze and how our spaces, how our world is going to look like. You can guess that this is a space which looks like what? What do you think? With this artificial intelligence possibility, what do you think? This looks like what? Like a university? Airport? Yes, you're right. Like a lab airport or something like that. This one? Library, okay. I put it library all together mixed, right, in an ecosystem, a hotel, right? With all this, you see the partner, whoever it is that, I don't know, but, or your assistant who is going to be doing everything for you. So that's more or less how, and that's the system for peers there. And then we understand that all these, that there is no question we cannot not embrace it. So the whole thing is to change the mindset. And we've heard about that all these, we can say that it is very challenging, that it is very difficult, that it is not possible. But if we change the mindset and we see all those challenges as opportunities, we can build on it and grow faster and build the entire environment which is sustainable. I would like to put some of the quotes, and that's interesting that, again, makes us realize what we need to do, how we need to operate, how we need to learn. I love this quote of Mario Andretti, who is a racing driver of Formula One, who said, if everything seems under control, you are just not going fast enough. Right? We can see that that is exactly what is going on. So there is no way to whine and complain. You just need to do and embrace. And even all this future that we were saying years ago, that it was 20, 30 years away from us, now that future is closer and closer and closer. So the change is vertiginous, and that's clear. Another thing that we know, this famous Charles Darwin, he said that it's not the strongest who will survive, but actually the most adaptive to change. So it's not the strongest. It's not true what most people say. He said just most smart and who is capable of adapting to change. And that's actually the key to success. So obligation to respond to that. Toffler, and here we are bringing again that idea of who is the best person in terms of knowledge, right, to survive in this environment. In the 21st century is going to be those who actually cannot, unsuccessful, sorry, those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So those are going to be the illiterate of the 21st century, right? So we understand this is the obligation. And then I like that, even though it might be a little bit against some principles, but I do like defining success as something that depends on your attitude, the attitude of I can do attitude. So success or failure depends more upon attitude than upon capacity. It's open to interpretation, but I like that I can do attitude, which allows us to actually overcome challenges, because there were so many questions that we asked today. So what do we do? And for me personally, is that risk of exclusion and the social component that stays behind, and that capacity to create some divide and ethical considerations, which are very important as we talk about AI and this revolution. Now, from my perspective, what is important as we bring back all this into the picture is to understand the systemic responsibility for all of us in embracing the change and also building, as we say, a system which is supportive of all this transformation, particularly as we talk about entrepreneurship. So all these changes and all the initiatives have to be done collectively at different levels. And that's the system, the organizational, individual level, right? And you know, this type of trends that we talk about, the different skills that we need to build, and educators have to do all these. And you see that despite what is being said, that we need programming, we need coding, we need all those skills, it's still very interesting to see that skills like creativity, agile thinking, innovation, and even social skills, strangely enough, are going to increase in importance. And even I've seen the report of McKinsey who said the same thing. Obviously, physical and manual skills decrease in importance, but then complex cognitive, social, emotional skills are increasing in importance by 30, 35%, up to even 50%, right? So that's very important. In terms of system level, if you look at the country level, there are a lot of initiatives which are going on, and we understand that while we embrace the Industrial Revolution 4.0, we do also understand that we need to provide a system of support so that all the elements in a given country and then organization and then at the individual level can embrace that. So even the way how the World Economic Forum is looking at the national competitiveness changed based on the inputs from the 4.0 Industrial Revolution, saying that whatever we are doing, this has to be resilient, right? So to build resilience in the government and in the country, to be agile, that's about the change, to build that innovation ecosystem so that we are aware that we don't need to replace that with something which is just copy and pasted, and then human-centric. So it's still people are there in the center, whatever is being done with human in mind. And then we do see how progressively the most innovative countries are doing that, and then in most innovative organizations too, embracing some change in order to be able to sustain this. We can also see, and this came from the discussion that we've seen, we also see that markets, businesses, organizations, industries are changing, and we see that overlaps between different industries and different companies which emerge at the crossroads of different industries, and that we are talking more and more about the importance of multidisciplinarity, cross-disciplinarity. And this gives rise again to that idea of circular economy, idea of ecosystem. So things that are emerging at the crossroads, different types of paradigms. And here you have a little bit of snapshot of the future, how the industries are colliding, creating a new type of industries at the intersection. The innovation landscape also is big, and we are still in that 360 degrees of exploring that space. I would say product, process, those are traditional things, but the most important, it's definitely the mental way of changing. So mental maps that we have, and then the paradigms, innovation that we are gonna embrace more and more in the future. So paradigm or mental model innovation, which is fundamental, and that's exactly what the previous presenters talked about. So it's a mindset that we need to change to understand how this can help us to basically do something faster and in a better way. And then definitely position. It's something that is another type of innovation that we can embrace through the new technology that 4.0 revolution allows us. Now, transformation in general, and it's kind of a summative point. I do see what is going on in the world, moving away from traditional industries and sectors to something which is a borderless economy, from sustainable advantage to something which is a portfolio of transient advantages, and those advantages which are built by waves and waves of what is going and occurring in the market space. From traditional hierarchy, we see more holacratic organization with flat organizational structures, and we see that with the personal assistants from AI. Definitely this will continue to be flattened, and we'll see how organizations will change in the way they work. Work, all loyalty becomes more mobility, so mobile workers, and less emphasis on let's say loyalty to more freedom and flexibility. Experience and age becomes less important as we talk more about early, or let's say premature entrepreneurship, with the launch of new companies at a very, very early age, and the age is not anymore a guarantee of success or experience, right? And from that product innovation, we go into experience and paradigm. So those are the implications that we can extract from there to the people who would like to start their businesses and for the learning. At the same time, and here what I would like to bring back, that idea of the human and the centrality of people. In all this volatile environment, we know that we are changing. We have also the challenges, and those challenges have to keep in mind that the human is the center of all those transformation, and that no matter what, at the end of the day, whatever transformation happens, is the human who will make the decision whether this is important or not. And the way how we'll make that decision, it's a key question that was also addressed today. So humanistic principles have to be staying in the center of all those transformations that we have, knowing that entrepreneurship actually has the human as the center for the creation of any value proposition that is being done through new businesses. And here I just present you some of the individual responsibilities that are done in terms of embracing that new ideas, innovation, in order to sustain innovative corporations. And you know these individuals very well, who are classified as the most innovative individuals in the world. Leadership brings back all those elements of the first industrial revolution, because it allows to create that ecosystem which connects everyone together, including that entrepreneurial ecosystem, which is fundamental for sustaining the new generation and for sustaining all the changes that the governments across the world are investing in. And you can see this even perspective, how the World Economic Forum sees that. It's all in a system and it's all connected. So if I were my concluding ideas from all this to set the tone and to move softly to our discussion, I believe that this is a shared responsibility for all of us to build this ecosystem, and the role of partnerships is fundamental. I heard that through other presenters and the talks that were done before. Everyone is involved, and you know, in the academic world, we talk about triple helix, quadruple helix, now it's quintuple helix, right? And quintuple recognizes, going back to biomimicry, right, the idea of not only private sector, not only education, not only public and government, not only community, but also literally the physical environment. And that goes back to the idea of type of entrepreneurial ideas we have, and how can we build back on societal needs and the responsibilities of being more socially responsible, sustainable, and giving back to the ecosystem, which is a physical ecosystem in which we live. Research centers and definitely entrepreneurial labs and hubs close to universities. That's the model we've seen work throughout the world. And there is no other, I would say, no other way around it. It has to be close to university. It has to be there where the people are with their ideas really boiling in their heads, and give them that infrastructure for those ideas to be materialized and to become real businesses. We've seen UAE thriving very much in the idea of clusters. So clustering, even we've seen in Saudi, it's really the case. In UAE, we've seen a lot, particularly in the environment of education, but also in other industries. In Sharjah, definitely we have really the opportunity of having not only the universities, all that in the cluster of University City, but also with a big technology park, which is there, and the Shara being based just there, with the hub being even in the university itself. Ecosystem is something where all the partners will build and create that environment so that whenever there is an idea, that idea will come from A to Z towards the implementation, which will allow to also change the mindset. Then research, let's not forget the role of research, and we see two scholars today will talk about some ideas that they're investigating and looking at. Research support system, which is important to feed that innovation so that practitioner could put that in place. The vision of the leaders, right, where we would like to take it, where do we see it in the future, so that today we can prepare from that to that future, which is much shorter in its time dimension. Right now, because of all the changes we talked about, I see also the importance of cross-disciplinarity, multidisciplinarity. The most successful entrepreneurial teams typically stem from a combination of those teams who come from different disciplines. Social aspects, and this is very important, that as we talk about this, we do not have to forget that element of responsibility. So the aspects of ESG and social entrepreneurship. And not to forget the ethical connotation, because it will allow us to also avoid what we had before with the internet, digital divide. So we might have even digital AI where digital AI divide, where the most advanced countries will leave behind some of those which are really lagging in the development. So this allows me to conclude a little bit my introduction, talk about the context where we are right now, so that I can defer to our panelists. So we have, again, the three of them, and I would like, I have no way not to introduce them so that you understand the amazing accomplishments that each of them have. Somebody took away my slides. Okay, no worries. So, Her Excellency Sara Al-Nuaimi, as I introduced before, so she's the CEO of Shira, and this is one of the most, I would say, advanced centers of entrepreneurship, which is located really there in the University City in Sharjah. So Sara is a distinguished leader with over 20 years of experience in both private and public sector. It's very recent that Her Excellency joined Shira. It was in June 24. And under her leadership, Shira continues to be a leader in the UAE's entrepreneurship and innovation landscape. And the whole initiative is to establish Sharjah as a globally recognized and leading hub for talent, venture, and entrepreneurship. Even before joining Shara, Sara served as the Director of Strategy Success at the Abu Dhabi Early Childhood Authority. Her CV continues on and on and on. It's very long, but I would say that I'm particularly proud that Sara is also alumna of the American University of Sharjah back in 2003, right? From MIS. So welcome to the panel, Your Excellency. Professor Adnan Malawi, correct? Okay, sorry about this. So this is an academic, definitely with some also, I guess, some practical experience, particularly with benefits that the research and the practical experience in the university allows Professor Adnan to do. So Professor Adnan is a professor of entrepreneurship at Mohammed bin Salman College for Business and Entrepreneurship. He holds a PhD in strategic management and entrepreneurship from IAE, Toulon in France. Prior to joining the school in Saudi Arabia, Adnan served as a professor of entrepreneurship and held several leadership roles, including head of Department of Strategy, Entrepreneurship and Management, Vice Dean for Faculty and Research, and Director of Entrepreneurship Center. There are more accomplishments, obviously, but I'm particularly noticing the very interesting research streams in entrepreneurship that Professor Adnan is pursuing, and I'll make sure to ask a few questions about research on specific type of entrepreneurs. And then we have Dr. Issam Mejri. Issam is Associate Professor of Entrepreneurship from EDC, Paris Business School in France. He holds a PhD in management sciences with a focus on international business from the University of Côte d'Azur, France. He's also visiting researcher at the Tefla School of Management at the University of Ottawa, and has over 15 years of experience teaching strategy and entrepreneurship to a really wide range of audiences. Again, many research accomplishments, and definitely your location in France will allow us to learn from your experience a little bit more. And let me move closer to our distinguished panelists and start from the top so that you can learn from your experience. The AI is not helping to move this better and faster. So I would start with, and it's an accident, Professor Adnan is here to my right-hand side. I would like to start with something more general, to ask a question about how you think the frontier technologies and all these industry AI principles are reshaping the whole entrepreneurship landscape globally and also regionally, given that you are in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you so much. You're full of energy, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your introduction and for your question. Maybe I will start maybe explaining what I have in mind regarding this entrepreneurship journey and the entrepreneur, by the way. Of course, it's all about mindset. It's about agility. It's about innovation. It's about critical thinking. It's about business modeling. It's about risk. It's about uncertainty. It's a lot of things that will shape the story and the journey of this entrepreneur. Different type of entrepreneur, of course. I'll not give you a lecture, but it's important to understand that every single entrepreneur has his own journey and story. And these entrepreneurs, some of them, they will like to work with these new tools linked to the 4.0 technology and industry. And then some of them will not, of course, let's say, integrate this kind of innovations. If we are talking about the impact of this new industry 4.0, of course, I will not reinvent the wheel. Everyone here knows that it's about machine learning, big data, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things also. And all of these things are quite new. And what I saw, and especially with this young generation of entrepreneur, they like that kind of things. And most of these entrepreneurs will try to integrate this new technology in their businesses. And what I saw, and this is amazing, is that the majority of these entrepreneurs, they don't know anything about this new technology. They just need to implement, for example, artificial intelligence, just to discuss and answer to the customer and this and that. But mainly about the technology itself, they don't know anything. That's why we cannot dissociate that kind of innovation from and to the education side. You know, it's all about learning. It's a learning curve. It's a learning journey. And that's why it's really important to provide this entrepreneur with this specific knowledge. By the way, this technology, in my opinion, the impacts, of course, and it's all about impact. When we are talking about, and with the entrepreneur, you will see that the main point for them is to create impact. 99%, and I'm sure about that, maybe I exaggerate a bit, but all of them, they're trying to create businesses because they want recognition. They want to leave a legacy. They want to create impact, economic, social, sustainable impact, which makes sense. And of course, there is the 1%, they will try to create these businesses and set up these businesses to earn money. I'm talking about necessity entrepreneurship, and it's a different, let's say, story. Regarding this technology, I think the impact is amazing because let's talk about the entrepreneur. For the entrepreneur, it's, I don't know, for example, for them, it will provide them with a new opportunity to set up new business models. Because if you are talking about artificial intelligence or integrating machine learning in their businesses, it will facilitate for them the decision-making process. I give an example. If you are an entrepreneur and you are trying to grow with your company, with the machine learning, you will learn a lot. You will have the access to thousands, millions of data, and it is impossible for a normal human being to understand, analyze, and take decision regarding this data. That's why machine learning, it's a tool, of course, and will help, of course, this entrepreneur to take the best decision. Let's say the decision aligned with their expectation. And also, for example, if you are talking about this entrepreneur who are building, they are building companies around, for example, let's say they're mainly working on the supply chain, for example, delivery, for example, Uber, for example, Amazon, for example, Kerim, Hunger Station. All of these companies, they are mainly focused on the problem of solving this business process, let's say, journey. And to earn money, they need to cut costs. And this new technology will help them to provide a kind of new business model based on that new technology. And of course, this entrepreneur, they will try to integrate, for example, artificial intelligence to have a better customer experience with their customers. It will facilitate a lot of things. Now, if you try to discuss with any kind of customer service, for sure 100%, let's say 90% now, you will deal with an artificial intelligence. It makes sense regarding the new environment, regarding the complexity of the environment we are living in, and it will provide for sure a better experience for all of us. Regarding the GCC region, I'm quite new in this region. I just joined Saudi in September 23. And the good thing here is that I'm navigating between North Africa, Tunisia, France, Europe, and the GCC region. And what I can say is that it's amazing what happened here. This is the land of opportunities for entrepreneurs. I'm not talking only about money-wise. I'm talking about the agility of the context and the capacity of this context to absorb all of this new technology and to develop new businesses, a stronger, let's say, ecosystem environment. And of course, this environment and ecosystem, it's mainly, let's say, supported by some, let's say, stakeholders. And for me, one of the most important stakeholders in this equation is the government. The government in this region, and mainly, I think, in Emirates, in Saudi, and in Qatar, they are focusing on this new technology, integrating them. Saudi, for example, through this amazing Vision 2030, everything related to technology will find it in the Vision 2030. Saudi is investing more and planning to invest more than $500 billion in this new technology. You can see this technology everywhere, governmental services, whatever you want. Also, I made some research about Emirates. You are trying here in this beautiful country to develop this new strategy centered on the artificial intelligence strategy, 2031, I think, if I'm not wrong, and this and that. Sorry, I speak a lot.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
You are a professor,
Yeah.
right? So we're being paid for that, right?
Yeah. We are trying, yeah. And the last maybe point is about this new businesses we can see here. For example, if you can see in the healthcare sector, there is an amazing transformation, integrating artificial intelligence, big data, and this and that to facilitate the decision, let's say, for the doctors and for the professionals of the healthcare sectors. And of course, you will see that this new technology mainly implemented in this e-commerce, for example, businesses, and different other sectors, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Adnan. I would like to say there were so many elements there, and there are the follow-up questions on that, but I would like for us to stay for now at the macro level, because you ended up with the governmental initiatives, how to promote, how to invest. And we've seen here how adamant you are to represent Saudi,
No,
right?
no, no, no,
But
no.
we are here in UAE, and there is Sharjah just close by there.
I'm a
And there is
guest.
no
I'm a guest.
it's a joke,
Yeah, of course.
but obviously we know the NEOM
Yes.
project, and we will eventually ask you, because you're just by close by there, right? We'll
Yeah.
ask you a little bit later about that,
Yeah.
and how the advancements are there. But in UAE, we do have a government and a ministry created by government, which is AI ministry, and we have an AI minister. So basically, you see how important it is, the whole idea of AI and in the development of the future of the country and the region as a whole. As we talk about all the opportunities and initiatives that are done by Industry 4.0, we know that in UAE we have a lot of those. And definitely we know that Sharjah Technology Park has a lot of events that are being done to sustain the development and flourishment of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, not only in Sharjah, because there are so many spillovers with the close by Emirates and the entire country and the region. So how are those initiatives from 4.0, Industry 4.0, allowed to flourish and to push forward the development of entrepreneurial ecosystem in Sharjah, but also across in other Emirates?
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for having me here. So before I start with Sharjah, I have to also echo what you just mentioned about the UAE and the importance of, the importance of AI, the recognition of the importance of AI, and the importance of entrepreneurship in driving the economic growth of the country has been endorsed at the highest levels in the country. And we've recently seen the appointment of a minister for entrepreneurship, and before that, a minister for AI. Now, how that cascades down to Sharjah and to Shira is, over the past 8 years, Shira has been able to position Sharjah at the forefront of entrepreneurship, being a leading startup ecosystem, ranking the 7th in the MENA region recently, and aspiring to elevate more in this ranking as we move forward.
So
Thank you
that's
so much.
amazing, for 8 years. Right?
Yes.
Since establishment.
Yes. So this growth really reflects the diversification, the importance of job creation, and all of that. In part of what Shira, the startup that Shira has supported, they have been able to raise a capital equivalent to $171 million and generate revenues of about $250 million in the past 8 years collectively. And at the same time creating about 2,000 jobs in the market. We do acknowledge the importance of the fourth industrial revolution in sustaining the growth of these startups, and we have plenty of examples that I can maybe mention a few as I continue the conversation.
That was a question.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yes, so we have recently, probably as you're aware, but we have published a report about the entrepreneurial ecosystem, the student entrepreneurial ecosystem in Sharjah. And this was in collaboration with the American University of Sharjah. And it really shows a rise in the entrepreneurial spirit among students. And this is what we want to continue to have, and we want to continue at Shira to really translate these aspirations into successful ventures and successful businesses. And we do that through numerous programs with universities like the AUS and the University of Sharjah. We have the Startup Dojo that runs throughout the year, providing the skill sets to the students and to the aspiring entrepreneurs to be able to translate their ideas into successful businesses. And again, I'm going to maybe take you through a few of those examples. So I believe entrepreneurship has really played a vital role in supporting and growing the industrial revolution. We have plenty of examples to showcase. One of which maybe that's worth mentioning is a startup that was graduated from one of our programs. It's called Rimal IoT. Rimal IoT is founded by an Emirati founder here, and it's basically about developing or utilizing IoT in smart city development. And he has been able to grow globally in that, and has been able to create a platform to educate users on the deployment of IoT in various areas, and even in machine development and all of that. Another example is Azure 3DP, which is an example. Actually, it's by a student from the AUS. And it also showcases how Shira plays a pivotal role in translating ideas of students into successful businesses. So I believe his name is Sharif. Sharif had an idea of utilizing 3D printing for custom manufacturing. And through our programs, he was able to translate that idea into a successful business that is running today in that field as well. On top of that, we have earlier this year launched 4 centers of excellence, which basically drives our focus to supporting startups in 4 main sectors in the market. Those are advanced manufacturing, creative industries, sustainability, and edtech. And again, I'm not going to take you through all of the examples of startups that are in these areas, but the importance of really driving our focus toward these 4 areas that are quite aligned with the technological advancements that are there today in the market. Perhaps within sustainability, if I can just mention one of the startups that actually was a participant in something we call the Access Sharjah Challenge. The Access Sharjah Challenge is a program or a challenge. It's a call to action to startups all over the world to come and apply to resolve challenges that our main stakeholders in Sharjah from the private and public sectors are facing through deploying latest technologies. One example that we had last year, and that was in partnership with BIA in Sharjah, was a company called Candam Technologies, and it's from Spain. The challenge was basically how can we help sort waste at the source for recycling purposes. And they were able to deploy IoT devices at the source to be able to, through sound, identify different recyclables and sort them accordingly. And today, this company has set up in Sharjah. Their BIA is actually looking into investing in them. And we continue to support such models and such examples. Today we have another challenge similar to this that is more related to the agricultural and livestock sides, supporting His Highness's farms, the wheat farms and the livestock farms, through advanced technology as well. And these will be hopefully announced early next year, inshallah. There are plenty of other examples. For example, within EdTech, we have a startup called Al-Mentor. Al-Mentor is an online educational platform that can be utilized in upskilling youth and upskilling aspiring entrepreneurs when it comes to the latest technologies and whatnot. This is kind of in a nutshell what we do to support that.
Thank you so much. There are so much more. I'll have some follow-up questions on that. Let's stay at the macro level and to dig into some French experience eventually, right?
Yeah.
And particularly if you can a little bit talk about what France brings to the table in terms of entrepreneurial ecosystem, but link it back maybe more to your research in family business, because family business is like the fabric, the social fabric of the entire society, and we cannot repeat the importance of family businesses, in particular in the regions in the GCC, but I guess in many Latin countries this is the case, right? Where family is such an important element of social life.
Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you today in Mohammed bin Rashid Business School of Government. What's in our discussion about entrepreneurship, maybe to move to family entrepreneurship. Family business is important and vital in different I would say everywhere, in the United States, in Europe, but in GCC it's well important because we have a landscape that of family business that contribute to 60, maybe at 80% of non-oil GDP, with a diversified landscape of business between big company like conglomerates. I would speak maybe about Orascom Construction or Zahid Group, for example, here in UA. the same in Europe. We have big companies, but we can have also some family SMEs, and all these companies have a difference with the entrepreneurial mindset of startups today, and the the embeddedness of technology and the adaptation to industry 4.0. What is important for these family firms, and what characterize these family firms? It's the longevity and the continuity. We have multi-generational firms with senior management firms that manage the enterprise, and we have newcomers and new generation that are the next. We speak about the next generation and the new member of the family that are in this business, and the rise of technology, of industry 4.0 challenges these types of firms and family firms in terms of adaptation to new technology and digital technology. How we speak with Adel about digital divide sometimes, but for family firms, we have these generational divides. How the senior members will adapt this technology, and what are the difference between the senior and the intergenerational, I will say, mindset between the new and the older one. This is a challenge for the family business nowadays in everywhere. In Germany, for example, in France, but also here in GCC. We have an initiative with Babson College and some schools in Europe, and here with Sharika, with Rodrigo Vasco. Every year we have a report with STEP, Project Global Consortium, and KPMG Private Enterprise. We do this research in different countries, in 50 countries, to study what are the challenges and what are the opportunities and strategies for family firms. And for the GCC, we see that there are a lot of initiatives in different countries. We don't speak about maybe the big agenda of the government or different government in GCC and MENA, but for the family firms, we have some success story with, for example, if I take El Marai, that install a special business intelligence center to gather data between the different company sources, and to install, for example, IoT sensor uh, to embrace different, I will say, production and increase production in QSA, and there are other initiatives for family firms, or Rascom firms, or Al Zahid, and lot of these family firms today take advantage of Industry 4.0 and implement different strategy. But I would like to speak not maybe about the opportunities that bring today Industry 4.0, but what are the challenges for these family firms? I speak about the generational maybe a mindset about adaptation of Industry 4.0 and different technology. The older generation and the senior generation, the senior management generation, maybe are more tradition and have this ambition of continuity, of organizational routines. We have companies with 70 years old, and this new generation who would like to bring tech and digitalization in the different process. And we have a good experience with good examples with some of this new generation who take the digital transformation unit or the digital transformation services in the company. What's the other maybe challenges? It will be the skills gap. In these companies, in traditional and in manufacturing sector, there is a lack of resources and competences and skills about IT and not only IT, but how to transform the companies with these different tools. Because I assisted last week to a conference in Paris about AI, and in France we said there is a big problem because we have AI from United States, we have AI from China, and we use AI, but we don't today maybe have our AI, and how we have in Europe some policy that are different from these two top countries, I will say, of diffusion of AI. And what's the strategy to have an American AI, or to have our types of AI, or to have Chinese AI? And if we are a multinational, and if we are a big company, what's type of AI and what's type of technology we can have in our company to go broad and to internationalize? This is also, like I said, a problem of skills and how to develop skills and maintain these talents, digital talents in the company and in the sector. And the third one, maybe today also, in terms of, like I said, internationalization, what types of partnership we can have for these family firms to adapt to these different technologies.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Issam. As you were talking, I went right away back, flashback to my mom, who is really in that digital divide you said, so generational divide. Literally, I just say, Mom, don't be recalcitrant. Why? I don't want to use it. I don't want to use it. Mom, but just click here. I don't want to. What if? And we had a previous speaker who said, what about choice? At the end of the day, she's right. She has a choice not to. She's, Mom, but you're going to be the last one. I want to be the last one, but give me the choice, right? So in this, it brings us a little bit back to those challenges that we have. And I would like to, Your Excellency, go back to you and then bring it to Professor Adnan about the challenges that we have, and particularly as we adopt Industry 4.0 technologies. What are the main barriers, main challenges that small, particularly SMEs here in the region have in the adoption of that, and even the entrepreneurs who have new ideas? What are the main challenges that you see they're still facing?
So in terms of adopting the tools of the Industry 4.0, I can summarize them in three main challenges. The first one is the filling the skills gap between what is required in the market and between the students and the entrepreneurs. The report, again, I go back to the report that was published by Dr. Rodrigo from AUS, really highlights a skill gap specifically in AI, in data science and robotics, and in IoT development among students. And it's really our responsibilities to bridge that gap in skills to be able to adopt. This is kind of a prerequisite to SMEs having adopting those technologies, is basically to really upskill and create a pipeline of talent from the students moving forward in those areas to be able to adopt them in their startups and in their businesses. What we do in Shara is we have a network of experts in many different sectors that we utilize in our workshops, in our hackathons and programs that are directed to aspiring entrepreneurs at early stage, as well as students, to be able to bridge this gap. We have programs like the Startup Dojo. I think I mentioned it earlier, but it's a program that's a year-long program targeted at students that creates those necessary skills needed by them to be able to be ready to enter the market successfully. We also take that one step forward further with the Dojo Plus. Dojo Plus is basically an advanced kind of stream from that program. It's a concentrated 8-week program for a select group of ideas, a select group of business ventures. In the previous program, the Startup Dojo, they reach up to a stage of developing a minimum viable product. At Startup Dojo Plus, we move them forward from that into something that is future ready, that is ready to be deployed in the market. A few weeks ago, in collaboration with the Sharjah Investment Forum and the Research and Technology Park, there was a Shark Tank program called Seal the Deal. And the graduates from the Dojo Plus program were there to pitching their ideas to potential investors. And we've had a lot of successful stories as well there in investors really being interested in some of those startups. So we continue to identifying those skill gaps and identifying ways to bridge them. That would be the first challenge. The second challenge, and I think it's a universal challenge for all entrepreneurs, is the access to funding. So most entrepreneurs all over the world face that challenge of access to funding. Deploying technologies, latest technologies to be up to date with the Industry 4.0 require a high capital that might not necessarily be available with those startups. And this is something that we try to also overcome by connecting startups with potential to a vast network that Shira has of investors, potential investors such as VCs, angel investors, and corporate partners, which provide opportunities such as equity-free grants, investment opportunities, and access to resources that these startups could really benefit from. And finally, the last challenge is obviously the regulatory challenge. So I believe regulations don't necessarily put up with all the emerging technologies that are there in the market, and the need to be compliant to those regulations really slow down the adoption of those technologies in startups. And this is something that I believe it's our role to continue advocating for and continue strengthening and our role in overcoming those challenges.
Exactly. That's, I was wondering whether you'll have time to mention, because there are too many activities and initiatives that Shira pursues to mention. But you said about Seal the Deal, because I heard a lot. I participated myself, and how students really enjoy, because that allows to get and to solve that gap of financing, right? Because that's one of the most challenging one. And another, like in terms of initiative that UAE is pursuing, is just the way how the government changes the regulation for entrepreneurs to be able to open a license so fast. You just can land in a couple of hours. You can get your entrepreneurial license and just start your business. So this is something which is enabling, of course, and creates the right environment. And you tackled very important, of course, challenge, which is the skill gap, and which is important for all the generations of family business, but definitely it brings us back to the education, to the landscape of the universities, and how important it is for us to be in partnership with real practitioners there, the mentors that you're allowed to, for students, the ones who have ideas, to help to develop the ideas and also to implement the ideas in practice. But it also requires us educators to change our agendas, our curriculum, our vision, and the way even how we teach. So, Professor Adnan, how do you think we educators, are we doing good or not really adapting?
What a responsibility, by the way. Yeah.
Adapting to all those challenges.
Thank you. There is a lot of new things coming up in this past years, especially with this interest to renewable energy, to fintech, edtech.
And you're in Saudi or in general?
Everywhere. Mainly in Saudi, also for sure. And there is some challenges for this entrepreneur, and you'll understand my point. Two main challenges for the entrepreneur, of course, is to raise money. to develop and growth and grow. And for that, I think that with this new industry 5.0, it will give more to the entrepreneur the possibility to scale up their businesses. Less costs, easier to develop, to scale up, and at the same time it will reduce the barrier for the globalization and internationalization of these companies, startups. It means more businesses, more, let's say, income, and they need to adapt and readapt and change their business model and the value proposition in that purpose. And for that, generally the entrepreneur, they don't have the skills really to develop that kind of things, and mainly to implement this new technology. That's why in the education side, there is a lot of challenges, of course, for the higher education, but also for the other levels. For example, you can see, I don't know if it's your case, but for me, for example, just ask my kid. He's 6 years old, and he just started a code and no code sessions with the teacher. And the idea now is not just to play with the games, video games, is to know how you can build them and to develop that kind of facility with the technology. And of course, it will develop this agility and of course the critical thinking and this and that. For the higher education mainly, you can see that there is a lot of initiative. Of course, we implement a lot of lectures, courses about this new technology, blockchain, artificial intelligence, code, no code, and this and that, even in the business schools. Of course, in the engineering school and other universities, it's already the case. We are not reinventing the wheel, I think, in the higher education. We are developing a lot of competition, hackathon, and now the focus is mainly about this new technology, how to implement artificial intelligence in decision-making, how to develop that kind of process and integrate them in their business model. I'll give you an example about this, let's say, interesting approach we can see and observe around the world. A lot of business school and university, they establish strong links now with the industry, with the ecosystem, with the companies, and they will develop two types of competitions. Entrepreneurship, it's not only about creating, set up businesses, it's also about corporate entrepreneurship, how to develop new idea and innovation inside the companies. For example, we had the honor and privilege to work with the Royal Commission of Mecca in Saudi, and they have facing not issues, but they have challenges and they want to develop sustainable ideas. And we established a partnership with them, and we launched a kind of 6-month, let's say, competition. And what we did, for example, the winner of this competition, they develop a kind of agent, artificial agent, to provide al-Hujjaj with the answers to their requests, any kind of request, booking, accommodation, places, how to do your Umrah, all of these things. And they call it Bilal. And what happened, because it's all about feedback and also how you will manage that kind of initiative. Because if you will not follow up with the student, for me, there is nothing. There is no, let's say, the learning goals, you didn't get them, for sure. That's why, after that, we were invited by the CEO of the Royal Commission of Mecca and all the strategic board, okay? And the student, the winner, they present their project. He really liked it. And he asked NOSC, I don't know if some people know NOSC. NOSC, it's the application organizing everything in Umrah, Hajj, and this and that. And they are developing now the solution, and they will integrate it in NOSC. It's not, of course, I'm super proud about my students, but the thing is just not to show you that we are super and this and that. Of course we are. But at the same time, just to show you that it's possible to develop amazing ideas with the students. The learning experience, for me, it's all about that. How to transform idea to the reality. How to create impact, okay? This is the first point. Regarding the hackathon, for example, we developed, and I think it's also the case in Sharjah, with Rodrigo and the team and you, we developed, for example, in Saudi last year, the first family business hackathon. We worked with Al Sulaiman Group. He provided us with the challenge he's facing for the next 10 years. And we had something like 270 executive MBA students, okay? And these students, divided in group, they worked during 3 days on different problems, okay? And Dr. Al Sulaiman took all of this, let's say, proposal, and they are working on it to integrate them in their next strategic plan. You can see here the link we can create between industry, between the companies, and between the higher education. And of course, for this 4.0 industry, it's impressive because when you are talking to the CEOs and companies, all of them, they are aware about the importance of the industry 4.0. And now you can see there is a lot of CEOs that are integrating artificial intelligence in their decision-making process, which is amazing. This is what I can say about that. Of course, I will not talk about incubators, hubs, and this and that, accelerator. All the universities and business school now, they have their own program. Now the thing is how to transform these ideas, startups, and provide them with the possibility, with the resources to succeed and to grow. This is the main question, and that's the gap we need to fill. And to interest, for example, the investor, VCs, business angel, whatever you want, it's important to see that now these VCs and business angels, they really focus on this new technology. And if you ask them to invest in this new technology, they will invest. And I can tell you, I saw some people investing in in companies, they don't know anything about how it is working. Just they know that there is a scalability, there is possibility, there is KPIs, and that's why they will invest. This is the thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm aware of time. We have 15 minutes. I just wanted maybe to close with one final question to Dr. Issam, and then I'll take the questions from the floor. And if we have no questions, which I doubt, I have more questions here. So no worries, we'll use all the time. So Dr. Issam, maybe you can share with us a little bit the experience of France, of your school in particular. How do you take advantage of the opportunities in the school? What initiatives are the curricular changing in the business school? And how do you support the students in their entrepreneurial journey, if you do anything? And we can learn from the French experience too here.
Okay, great, thank you. First of all, my school in Paris, EDC Business School, it's a specific, I will say, the DNA of School of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And it's one of the schools of a group. We are a part of a group, and the group is Spanish group. It's Group Planeta, and Planeta is one of its family business. And it's specialized in education and entertainment. It's like in
education and entertainment.
Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
Yeah,
Edutainment since a long time.
And the company and the group today is one of the competitor of Netflix in Latin America and Spanish. For the initiatives for entrepreneurship, also we have two parts. We have a local hackathon in the school, 3 days where we focus in the problematic of it's like an open innovation event. We work with a specific company in Paris, and we work on their problematic of digitalization, for example. And sometimes we have, for example, for last year, we have a family business in industry, specific in industry. And the problem for the company, it was how to brand an industrial company, a manufacturer industrial company. And the students for 3 days, they work on this problematic with the R&D manager of the company, and by group they work on this problematic. The second hackathon, we have a 3-part hackathon with Paris Telecom. We are a business school. With Paris Telecom, we have students from a tech school. And the third part is Tunisian University, ISISAM, in Tunis. And we have this hackathon. It's a Mediterranean hackathon, and we focus on impact entrepreneurship. What are the different today problem in the Mediterranean region? And with the two sides, I will say the north and the south of the Mediterranean, what are the what are impact projects that can students focus on it? This is the part. Maybe I would like to speak about also internationalization of company today. And I speak about challenges maybe for family business, but I would like to speak about the opportunities today for GCC firms. We have startups, we have SMEs, we have these big companies and groups, and we see that we see two models of internationalization of companies. First, we have European maybe and American companies that start slowly their process of internationalization. After that, we have the emerging economies from China, from Korea, and we have this emerging. We speak about emerging multinationals that are that have another model of internationalization, the triple L. We speak about learning, linking, learning, and leveraging. And the question may be, what else for GCC? What type of model tomorrow for GCC to go to international market and do what we see in our study? Big company and conglomerates in GCC are regional player. Now, maybe the challenge, how to be an international player, and maybe the industry 4.0 and digitalization and all this new technology can accelerate this way of operating for the GCC countries, and maybe a big opportunity to be an international player. Why not? This is.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Issam.
you.
As you can see, thank you so much. As you can see, the panelists are very distinguished. They have a lot of knowledge, so I invite you, encourage you to bombard them with questions. So who has, okay. Do you have a, okay, no, I'll go. I'll go. So
Thank you so much, and thank you for the panelists for their excellent presentations. I have a comment, actually, it's more than a question. There is an understanding and focus on developing local capacity in terms of ecosystem, education, etc. And I think the problem now is how to attract people with ideas from outside the country. People, they have ideas, they have already innovation, they are looking for better conditions, better environment to establish somewhere. And maybe if we are preparing our education system and ecosystem, we are preparing those investors for other countries, not for us, for our country. So maybe the question is how to attract people with good ideas, maybe from outside, not from inside.
Maybe I can comment on that because I saw different, let's say, things in Saudi. I know that, for example, there is an impressive initiative and there is a kind of super incubator accelerator in Riyadh, the garage, okay? And the garage now, if you visit the garage, you will not see only Saudi entrepreneur. You will see entrepreneur from Japan, from France, from Europe, from US. And all of these people, they are here because there is some partnership with different, let's say, incubator around the world. For example, with Station F in France, with this and that in Silicon Valley and this. And the thing is that these entrepreneurs, they're here, why? Because they think that there is the possibility to raise money easily. This is the fact. Because, let's say, the business angels and the VCs are more open to the new technology. And to invest on these things, it's something, let's say, normal in the region. Not only in Saudi, I think in Emirates, maybe the case, maybe you can comment on that. The second thing is about, let's say, regulations. Regulation in GCC are completely different from other part of the world. That's why here they will find their, let's say, the opportunity to develop their startups and this and that. Regarding the higher education part you mentioned, for example, KAUST, King Abdullah University for Technology, KAUST, in Cake, close to Cake Dam, Thawel, exactly. It's an amazing university. It's a city inside the city. It's, they establish strong relationship with the main universities around the world and mainly with MIT. And personally, I visited already on MIT, and when I visited, for example, KAUST, same ecosystem, mashallah, they're developing a lot of innovations. They're working on the technology transfer. They're working on the impact side, how to create impact with the local environment. And to answer to your question mainly about how to attract people, I'm sure they have a lot of PhD students from all over the world. They're trying to attract the same process. MIT did the same. MIT, where they provide the best students around the world, they have recruitment and this and that, and they will bring them to MIT, provide them with full scholarship and this and that. KAUST is doing the same. And they're developing a huge, let's say, and impressive, let's say, knowledge hub there. And yes, I think that's the future now. The idea is maybe to change the things here. I'm that kind of person, I don't like the concept of let's import best practices. I think here in GCC region, we can develop our own best practice. That's the difference.
Just thank you. Quickly, just to answer to Dr. Nizar's question, in Qatar we have a lot of competition, international competition. QDB, Qatar Development Bank, also QFC, I think, they attract startups from outside the country. And I was a mentor in different hackathons, and there is really a lot of initiatives to attract startup in fintech, AI, which are the main target for Qatar in QFC and also QDB. And there are many other.
Thank you. Regarding Qatar and the QDB, we have worked with the QDB on the accelerator program, but it was mainly focused on the Qatari SMEs. But my question is to the panelists, and it's a follow-up question, because are you considering a partnership with other MENA countries? Because not only with Japan, with the advanced countries, but like the other MENA countries. I think in Tunisia there is an initiative of a Flat 6 Lab, which is Emirati accelerator. It's the first one in its kind regional accelerator that choose the other MENA countries as a vivier. So I don't know if you are considering this for other countries and yes, to develop this initiative. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Can I?
Yeah, maybe comment.
Answer what yes. So just to respond to the comment, we are open at Sharjah and Shira to collaborations with other MENA regions. We're now in talks with universities in Oman, for example. We're also exploring other countries as we speak. not only in the MENA region, even beyond that. Yesterday, I signed an MOU with Tamil Nadu in India, which is basically, the startup hub of India. And we're looking at how can we do, a startup exchange program and things like that between Sharjah and Tamil Nadu. In addition to that, we utilize our Access Sharjah challenge to also attract foreign startups to the region and to Sharjah specifically. By really creating opportunities for them in Sharjah and connecting them with potential investors, assuring them, securing some contracts with the government as well. And I mentioned earlier, the Access Sharjah challenge of this year, which is focusing on finding sustainable solutions for the wheat farm in Sharjah, as well as other solutions for livestock health as well. So we continue to look at opportunities for startups from the region and beyond to be attracted to the country and to Sharjah, as well as collaborations with other startup hubs elsewhere as well.
Hello, Arman Eshraghi, Cardiff University, UK. I have a question perhaps for Her Excellency, but also for all the panelists. There is fascinating research in behavioral economics and behavioral finance that shows, that looks at the drivers of the decision to take financial risk and start a startup. And obviously this is important for entrepreneurship. So when you look at cross-country studies, typically GCC population tend to be lower in terms of risk appetite, financial risk. And some research shows that this is associated with the social stigma of financial loss and business failure. So I was wondering what could be done to improve or mitigate those issues from a cultural, social perspective.
Virginia.
Okay, so just to answer your question, we do acknowledge this as a risk for entrepreneurs, and we do acknowledge that a lot of them prefer, because of the stigma, they prefer to secure a job, a sustainable income, and all of that. And we're continuing to find ways to mitigate that. So we're also in talks with the American University of Sharjah, for example, because a lot of, especially foreign students and expat students, they worry about things like their residency and things like that, and that's why they also look at long-term jobs rather than taking a risk and going into venturing into starting their own business. So we're looking at different ways to mitigate that. For example, when it comes to residences, we're working now, we're in discussions actually with the university, with American University in Sharjah, as well as Arada, which is a real estate developer in Sharjah, to secure at least the residential requirements of those students who are willing to start their own businesses. We're also looking at providing them with financial stipends every month until they start their business and they successfully launch it. And we continue to find different solutions. We're open to also explore different ways of really increasing this appetite for startups. We notice that most of the startups today and the founders today actually have that on the side of a full-time job. And sometimes that could hinder growth, sometimes, not necessarily all the time. And we continue to explore basically ways to overcome that.
Okay, thank you very much. I really am enjoying very much the presentation and the discussion. I salute your student who produce Nusuk. It's very useful. Still. I'm so to speak, coming from the future to let you know how these are going to be implicated, especially for Shira and Sharjah. The dynamics between the university and the business is very complicated. When I started 2017 at Nile University, very unique university. It has only 3 major schools: computer science and business and engineering. And they have an edge in technology. So we're very quickly able to convince the official in the central bank that we need incubators. We need to build technology hub. Very quickly, they give us the money. very quickly, the question of finance when we graduate business. So we graduate around 300 business each year, which is a big number. And we'll come to the question about exporting because we are suffering now from the Saudi. We have venture capitalists who advertise in the newspaper, and given the manna from heaven coming in the devaluation of the Egyptian pound, uh, very quickly our graduates go outside, and I'm assuming there is a big chunk of them. Let me just give this dynamics. Uh, the idea when we convinced the central bank to have a decree to give 15 to 20% loans by the commercial banks to small startup SMEs in general. And this became a decree by the central bank. The bank has to obey. Uh, the bank came into a problem because they were not able to do that. The bank usually give the loans for people who have collateral. So very quickly the bank complained that they are not able to, even though they are punished by fine by the central bank, they were not able to do so. Uh, they came to us. You are the one who created the problem. You have to solve it. I mean, I'm joking, but this was this year. I'm graduating from the finance track in SME sustainable finance, and this track have 50 students moved literally the whole class to the bank, a specific bank who basically had an agreement with us. You will find this every step of the way getting complicated, the interaction and the connection between you as a center, as a hub, as an incubator or accelerator, whatever you want to say, and the business. You need this kind of go back and forth cooperation, and you need representative from the business people in your center. You need official from the government following up. So there is a lot of pieces and bits that should be put together. Right now, our company, our graduating company, so to speak, they produce over 1 billion Egyptian pound. It's in Egyptian pound, it's a big number. In dollar, it's not, because the Egyptian pound is 2 cents right now. In a matter of couple of years, you will find yourself in a position where your graduate of dominating the market. And in this case, you will have an impact. I advise you from now to invest as a center in your graduates. So this will be sustainable. This will give you the edge in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Comment, and then there is a question.
It is a short question. I noticed that costs are not included in the discussion. And we know that costs are very important in taking decisions about investment or for any activity. Is no importance for the Samia area talk about costs.
Yes.
Cost يعني cost money
Yeah.
wise you mean?
For example, when I speak about family business, for family business, maybe not conglomerates, but for SME, it's really a big issue to have this infrastructure. If we speak about today EI and the different tools, but the renewing of the tools, because we have nowadays the first version, the second version, and all the different versions that we can have in the smart in the I will say small time. You have a lot of development of newness, and you need to develop. You need to adapt your business to this technology, and it's a big issue for these family firms to have this infrastructure, to invest in the infrastructure, to invest in the digital capabilities of their employees, and to accompany this movement of industrialization and digitalization. And it will cost a lot for the companies, and it's really a huge problem for the companies. Yes, we need to digitalize our company. It's a must, it's a need, but it will be a costly unit for the company. And it's a balance, I will say, for the strategy of the company to have this to have this
Just
cost.
maybe a comment, Aysam.
I am professor, but I have this experience of for 5 years as a banker, and I know that it's important for this company to invest, but it's important to have this.
If you allow me, Aysam, to say something. It's all about cost, sir. It's all about cost and money. If you invest on this industry 4.0, you will invest on artificial intelligence, for example, tools, and to implement this innovation in your business process. If you will implement them in your business model, it's an investment. It will cost you money for sure. But the return on investment, I will give you an example of a company, I will not cite them. For their customer center, they invest on artificial intelligence. They developed something amazing. And they have a contract with the call center to manage all of these customer, let's say, complaints. From 1,200 people working for them in these call centers, now there is only 62. This is the power of the new technology and the industry 4.0. It creates jobs, new jobs, but in the same time, it will manage, let's say there is a return on investment.
Ethical question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to close the session with somebody who is from the house, so if we go all the time, you are the responsible one. So last question, please.
Very quick question, actually, and perhaps for the interest of time, addressed to Her Excellency Saran. Professor Paul Collier, who is a well-renowned economist from Oxford, wrote a paper for the Economic Research Forum about the issue of productive cities in a radically uncertain environments, which I think is very much relevant to the industrial revolution that we are talking about now. And he actually pointed out the coordination failure in the training market. Said that the interest of the workers is to receive broad-based training so that they can be flexible and versatile for various jobs opportunities. But the entrepreneurs, they would like actually to capture the talent and the skills that they hire. And so they wanted highly specialized training. And so there is a coordination failure problem. So my question is for your center or at a public institution concerned about entrepreneurship and so on. Is this a problem for you, or do you have plans how to address this coordination failure?
So if I understood the question correctly, what we do is we help startups create jobs, and we do work on identifying what are the needs in the market when it comes to the skills required in those startups. I've mentioned that it's one of the challenges that we face today. But the importance of really identifying what skill sets are required and finding ways to kind of provide or to upskill the workforce in those SMEs, as well as the entrepreneurs and other sectors, in collaboration with different institutions like the universities in Sharjah, like the Research and Technology Park in Sharjah, and so forth. I also would like to say, we see now with the new generations and and post the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a shift in the way people perceive jobs, and you see more and more people, moving towards jobs that are more flexible, starting their own businesses, having the freedom to work from wherever they are. And the traditional definition of jobs is really transforming as we move forward. And I believe as that happens, as that continues, it will also reflect on the entrepreneurial ecosystems all over the world, with more and more people interested in having their own businesses, doing what they enjoy most, and diversifying when it comes to their skill sets as well. I myself don't consider myself an expert in one specific industry, even with my experience. It's quite diverse, and I like that because it helps me adapt to things that are changing. And I think as we continue moving forward and progressing, we'll see less and less specialization and more. And this is just my opinion. More people, with diverse skill sets that are very agile and adaptable to whatever it takes and whatever comes up in the market.